Hi beautiful people, my name is Joanne. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, a very welcome. And if you're an old subscriber watching this video right now, I really appreciate you. Thanks for always stopping by. So guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to cut a corset. Actually, it's going to be an off-shoulder corset. And interestingly, it's going to be the simplest method to cutting an off-shoulder corset. You agree with me that these days corset is really trending and you will not want to miss out on any of those. So here is a video on how you can achieve your corset, how to cut a corset in this using the simplest method. I actually use the simplest method, guys, so that you can understand properly. So without wasting much of your time, guys, let's go into the tutorial. But before that, please do not forget to like this video, share it if it's helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload videos like this, you'll be the first to be notified. So guys, let's start. Welcome back. Here is our pattern paper, what I'll be making use for the tutorial, and it's already on fold. As if you're using your fabric, your material, but here I'm not using a fabric for it, so I didn't necessarily fold this into two. So I just went ahead and marked what you're seeing now. What you're seeing now is actually a basic bodice. If you do not know how to draft a basic bodice, I've already dropped a video on how you can do that. Please go check that video out. And I've taken the measurement from the shoulder to my chest line. From the chest line, I marked my breast point. What I'm marking right now is the breast point. The third line is the under bust point, and the last line there is the half length. Let me just go ahead and label this. This is the half length, this is the under bust, this is the breast point. So I'll label that as the breast point, and the upper line there is the chest line. That is the chest line. If you do not know how to draft this, how I put this together, go and check. There's a video right there. So up there is the shoulder. So guys, next thing I'm going to do is to impute the dart measurement. So I'm taking my dart measurement right now, which is my nipple to nipple divide by 2. I did not add any allowance to this because I'm cutting on a pattern paper. When I'm cutting on my fabric, I'm going to be adding allowance to it. I took that measurement all the way to my bust point line. That is where I'm going to be marking, like you're seeing now. Next thing, I'll go to where I have the crease line and come in by 1/2 of an inch from the bust point. I'll make a line all the way to the half length. I'm coming in by 1/2 of an inch, but before that I'll just go up by 1 inch. That is how much I want my cleavage to show from the shoulder line. You can go ahead and make it 1.5 inches or even make it less than that. It depends on how much cleavage you want to show. So for me, I don't really want to show much of a cleavage, so that's why I'm going up by 1/2 of an inch, going up by 1 inch rather, and I'm coming in by 1/2 of an inch from the crease line. So with that, I've already gotten that measurement, as you can see. So next thing, I'll be taking in my dart, but before that I'm going up from the bust point 1 inch and coming down 1 inch. This is because while I'm marking my dart, I do not want the bust point to be pointy. You wouldn't want your bust point to be pointy. That's where you have your nipple. You don't want it to be pointy. By the time I'm done taking my dart, you see what I mean? So I'm marking my dart right now, and I'm taking 1 inch on both sides, right from the under bust, taking 1 inch, coming by 1 inch, and on the waistline I'm taking 1 inch and also coming by 1 inch. After I'm done with taking that part of my dart, I'm going to use my cuff rule and make a curve around there, around that area. This is for me to get my cup. So I'm going to do this, repeat the same thing on this other side. Like you've seen, I've just seen the reason why I came down by 1 inch and went up by 1 inch, because I wouldn't want that breast point part to be pointy. That is the reason why. So I'm going to be taking my dart, but before that I'm going to come to my armpit and get the half of my armpit measurements, which is what you're seeing there, and I'll make a curve all the way to where I have that line on in the middle, like so. I'm trying to create my neck pattern right now. So create whatever pattern you want, but for me I'm going to stick to this pattern. And after using my ruler, I noticed that it was coming out, it wasn't giving me actually what I want, and I used my free hand to give it a bit of a curve right there. So just give your neck whatever design you feel like. So after I'm done with that, I'm going to now take in my darts. I'm drawing a line to meet to that neck part because I'll be taking in my dart measurement. I'm coming in by 1 inch and going out by 1 inch. This is how I want to take my dart. So guys, this is it. I'm coming in by 1 inch and going out by 1 inch. I'm going to make a slant to where I came up by 1 inch from the bust point. If you can remember, this is to eliminate that pointiness around your nipple point. You wouldn't want, after making this corset, it comes out pointy around that part. No, it will not bring out the beauty unless you use an embellishment to cover it. But why not do the right thing once and for all? So after that, I'm just going to go ahead and use my cuff rule to give it that fine shape, and I'm using my cuff rule to shapen it like what you're seeing me smoothing the line, because I wouldn't want anything to come out pointy. So right there, I'm going to get my curve, my cup measurement from the underbust all the way to the neckline, as you can see. Next thing we'll do is to take this other cup measurement in this other part. But before that, I'm going to be taking the bust radius for this other side. To take the bust radius, you have to measure from the bust point to the underbust. Whatever you have, that is your bust radius. And for this, my bust radius is 3. So I'll go ahead and mark 3 and extend the measurement, because the side of our breast is usually bigger than this other part of our breast that is in the middle. So that is why I extended that measurement by 1/2 inch, and I went ahead and used my curve rule to get that cup. As you can see, the cup has really come out. The shape of the corset has come out. Guys, this is actually like the simplest form. So what I'm doing now is taking my dart measurement around the neckline. If you notice, one side of the dart is longer than the other side, so that's why after taking the measurement, I made the darts equal by adding to this other measurement like you're seeing there, and I'm going to use my curve rule to smoothen that measurement all the way to the neckline, so that after sewing it, I won't run short of fabric around that area. Next is to take my body measurement. Right now, going to the half length, I'm taking my waist measurement, divide by 4. I'm going to be replacing whatever I took out, the dart I took out, and I'm adding that dart right there. I'm adding my seam allowance. So going over to the bust measurement, taking my bust measurement by 4, and where I have my dart around the neckline, I'm going to be replacing that dart around that area, because I wouldn't want to run short of fabric. So after replacing the dart, I'm going to add my 2 inches extra seam allowance. Then whatever I have there, I'm just going to extend that line to the chest line. Is the same thing. Either you measure on the chest line or you measure on your bust point line. It is all the same thing. So I'm extending this line in order not to confuse you guys after shaping my top. So this is it. This is how it is. This is how it turned out. This is the extra seam allowance after I replaced all the darts. Guys, I hope I'm making sense. So next thing, I'll be adding to whatever I took out from the neck. I'm adding to that shoulder measurement. So that is it. I'm adding whatever, and it's 2 inches. I added that 2 inches there. After sewing it, I don't want to run short of fabric, guys. It is always safe to do this. And so I'm going to connect it all the way to the my shape. So guys, this is literally it. So if you're wondering what measurement I took for the off shoulder, I came down by, let me just say 4 inches, because actually I use half of my shoulder measurement. So you can go as far as 5 inches, 6 inches. Some people really love their off shoulder to be exposed, but this is totally fine by me. Go below that if you so wish, and you can even go as high as 3 inches if you so wish. It all totally depends on you. I'm shading this part and I'm making a stroke for me to know that this is actually the upside and the downside. For the upper side, that's for the center front, I made a stroke, double stroke for the upper side and single stroke for the downside. And I'm going to label the center front 1 and the side front as 2. That's for the cup. I'm doing this because after I'm done cutting on my pattern and I'm ready to sew it, I don't want to get confused. Guys, trust me, if you don't do this, you will end up confusing yourself. You will not want to sew the second side at the first side. You will not want to take the first one to the second one and sew the second one where you're supposed to sew the first one. It's going to be a disaster, guys. So this is me trying to cut, and while cutting, please be careful. I'm first cutting off my darts, the shaded part. I don't need that part anymore. That is the dart measurement. I'm taking that part out. So I'm carefully cutting this. Guys, this scissors is so sharp, and this pattern paper appears to be so soft. So I was just taking my time to do this in order not to cut through my work. Like seriously, to give me another stress of redrafting this, and I didn't want that for myself. So feel free to take your time to cut and cut and cut and cut it properly. Don't cut through and the other parts, in order not for it to shorten your measurement. If you don't know how to gum it together, you will be confused. So that's why I'm taking my time this way to cut. So I'm done cutting that part, and I'll be cutting off the armpits. Like I'll be cutting off the side. I'm trying to cut the side right now. Guys, I don't know if you're following what I'm doing. Well, in case you don't understand what I'm saying, guys, just look at the way I'm cutting this out. You can, if you don't really get, you can always come back to this video and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch till you understand. So next thing, I'll be cutting off this cup part. I want to cut off my cup right now. So this is me trying to cut out the cup. Oh god, this pattern paper, it's like giving me stress. It's just folding. I don't know, the quality is so guys, this is it. This is how it's turning out, and I'm going to be cutting off the cup for the center front. This is it, the number one cup right here. So I'm cutting that part out. I'm going to take out the middle parts, keep it aside because I'll be needing it, and I'm cutting out the excesses, the ones I don't want, taking it out. So guys, let me place it for you to see. And this pattern paper is really messing me up. Like it's not steady. It's not steady at all. So guys, just try and manage what you've seen. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know, the quality of this pattern paper is not really giving me what I want. So this is it. This is how it's turning out. This is how it is. So I'm placing, this is it. That's the number one cup, number two cup. I'm going to label this as the center front and the side front. Remember, I've already labeled the small cups, the tiny cups. So this is how it is. It's going to be exactly like this, guys. When you're cutting yours, it should come out exactly that, like this, exactly this way. So let's go over to the back pattern right now. I'm going to be placing my the my leftover pattern paper, and I'm going to go ahead and take the necessary measurements, which is the chest line. Taking my chest line, from the chest line I'm going to go over to the length, the half length actually, because I'm going to be attaching a skirt to this upper bodice. That is why I'm making it half, like 18 inches. Depends on the person's measurement. Take the normal half length measurements. Here happens to be 16 inches. I'm adding extra 2 inches seam allowance to make it 18 inches. So that is why it is half, like so. So guys, I'm going to be ruling that line. That is my chest line. So down there is the next line I'm going to be ruling, is my half length line. So guys, this back, basically there's nothing to it, it's just straight, just simple. So I'm taking my armpit measurements right now. That's the across back, the shoulder measurement, as whatever you call it. So this is it, that is the shoulder measurement, and I'm going to be taking my shoulder slope, taking my normal 3 inches. If you don't know how to draft a basic bodice, go to, there's a description below, you can check that video out on how I already posted a video, check it out on how I cut a basic body. So I'm going to be taking that shoulder slope like so. So around the midpoint area, I'm going to be ruling taking my armpit bust measurement, rather take my bust measurement. I don't even know what I'm saying. Take my bust measurement, then come down to my waist and take my waist measurement like so, and I'll be making my armpit curve all the way to my bust measurement like so. Guys, like I said, if you don't know how to draft the basic bodies, I've already posted a link on how you can achieve that. So next thing, I'll be taking in my dart, my nipple to nipple divide by 2. I didn't add extra allowance when I'm cutting on my pattern fabric. I'm going to be adding that allowance, taking it all the way to the chest line. I'm going to be make a rule, a long line all the way to the chest line, and this is me taking in my darts from the shoulder to my bust point. I came up by 1 inch, so this is 9 inches from the shoulder to my where I ended the dart. I hope you understand what I mean. So next thing, I will be adding my allowance and replacing my dart right now after taking my waist measurement, and I'm going to be adding 2 inches extra seam allowance, and on my bust line I'm adding my 2 inches extra seam allowance. I'm going to be making a line all the way from the waist to the bust. Repeat the same thing for this other side. So guys, hope you're following what I'm doing. Here, what I'm doing right now is to shade this part to remind me that I'm supposed to be cutting that part off. And next thing, I'll be achieving my neckline just as I did for the front. But for the back, I'm taking 7 inches from the shoulder. I'm going to be connecting it all the way to the midpoint of my armpit. Guys, there's nothing to it, no drama. The back doesn't have any drama at all, it's just simple. So this is it. Let me label this as the center back and the side back. I'm so sorry guys, I thought my camera captured everything. I didn't know it didn't capture everything, so apologize for that guys. So next, I'll be cutting this off, cut out the excesses, the ones I don't need. So to note that this dart, I'm not going to be cutting it out. I'm going to leave it this way. When I'm sewing, I'll just take my dart, impute my dart the way it is. But if you like, you can cut off your dart if you so wish. It totally depends on you. But note that when you're cutting off the dart, you have to add extra allowance. That's if you're taking out this, what I shaded there, that you're taking everything out. When you're cutting on your fabric, please add allowance, if not your outfit won't fit. So guys, this is how it's looking. This is how it is. This is it. It's really looking nice. So don't forget, I'm not going to cut this part, but if you want to, you can cut yours out. But while cutting on your fabric, please add allowance. If you notice, I did not add zipper allowance to this pattern. If you want to add zipper allowance after you're done cutting this part out, just add zipper allowance on your fabric. But because I want loops for this, for the back, I will not be adding zipper allowance. Rather, where I have my neckline, I came in by 2.5 inches, and on my half length, I came in by half of an inch. And I'm going to connect that line like so. As you can see, I'm shading that part out so that when I'm cutting, I know that I'm supposed to cut this part out. So, and also not to confuse you guys, like so. So that part you're seeing there is where I'm going to be adding my loops, guys. Hope you understand. If you don't want this, go ahead and add zipper allowance. You don't need to cut this out. You don't even need to mark what I just did now. Just add your zipper allowance to your fabric, or you can add your zipper allowance to the pattern. It totally depends on you. And at the end of the day, your work will come out very fine, very nice if you follow this step the way it is. So guys, this is how it's looking. Let me bring the front for you guys to see. At the end of the day, this is what we have. Feel free to comment, please guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, guys. It means a lot to me. Turn on your notification bell so that anytime I upload videos like this, interesting ones like this, you'll be the first to be notified. So guys, at this point, we've come to the end of this video, and I hope you understand. And even if you don't understand, feel free to come back to the video. Watch it over and over again, and don't forget to ask me questions, guys. I'll be there in the comment section to attend to you guys. So guys, do have a lovely day. Bye. I love you.